Round three. So here we go. I want this video to be about databases, or at least to start the conversation. And this will probably be the last one that I do for today because, well, as exciting and fun as I think this might be, for you it's got to be so-so at best, brutal otherwise, made even more so by the fact that you're basically watching me talk at you for however many minutes it's been now. So we'll cut the misery today after this video, and then like I said, just as a reminder, no class on Tuesday, October 13. That's fall break, so enjoy the extended weekend. And then next Thursday, I won't actually see, I may see some of you in the hallways on Wednesday. I'll be here Wednesday the 14th, but then I leave early morning on the 15th, next Thursday, for the University of Missouri. So I won't see you then either. So I will finish then this conversation about databases, and I have a feeling the conversation about evaluation of source material will also be held until next Thursday. And then we'll take it from there. So just a quick reminder before everybody disperses after this video concludes. But so we're at the Ball State University library site. My guess is that Laura Mulligan, who came in the first day of class, introduced you to things like OneSearch and then some of the services offered through Bracken Library in particular. I'm not going to do that. I want to dig into some more about databases. I think that's going to be important for you. So I guess we'll just click on this and go right into it. Now, they try to compartmentalize these into most frequently used, and actually, Academic Search Premier is where I'm going to go. LexisNexis is another one that I'm going to show you. But if you want to go over here to news, within specific disciplines, they try to group these according to ones that would be useful to you within the news discipline. I'm not going to talk about newspaper source. It's okay. I'm not a big fan of it. I am going to show you, well, now, do they have it in here? Oh, yeah, Access World News, right at the top. This one's good. This one will be, if not in this video, then I'll be definitely showing you this one in a video for next Thursday. LexisNexis Academic, I also think is very important. That one's pretty wide-reaching. So I definitely think I'm going to show you at least three. And then what you'll be doing with your final project for this second 5 weeks in this News 120 class, you and then a partner or partners, I haven't decided yet if it'll be pairs or trios, but you're going to be exploring a database and looking for certain things, and I will prompt you with all that later on. But the bottom line is that you're going to be doing much like what I've done now for you to keep the classes going in my absence. I'm going to have you create a screencast, basically an informational screencast that would then go within the university library site. I'll show you this later, but past sections of this class have been contributing over the course of time. We got a pretty robust video database of our own about databases, if that makes sense. So I'll talk more about that later, but that, gives you reason for why I'm going to show you a couple databases that I think will be useful for you, but it also sets a great example for what you'll be doing with your partner or partners for the final project in this class. So I'm going to go into, let me go back here to, well, while I'm mentioning it, you can also search by A to Z title. I'm going to do Access or not Access World News, but Academic Search Premier. That's the one I'm going to look at. Now, when you click on that, what's going to happen, you're going to have to log in. So I already got it set. When you do, this is what's going to appear. Now, you got to be careful here because you're going to see this icon over here, EBSCOhost. That's not your database. And that assignment that you have coming up, the 10 source assignment with evaluation of the source materials that's due on Tuesday, October 20th. I'm going to be asking you in there for the article title, journal title, and then the database from where you retrieved it. EBSCOhost should never really make it onto this assignment, so that might be a note you make for later. This is what I would call meta database. It's a house that holds a lot of different databases. Academic Search Premier is one of them. But if you click on Choose Databases, you'll see that there's a lot of different databases. All these ones that you can click on, these are all different databases, all with different purposes that fall within the umbrella or that live within the house that is EBSCOhost. Yeah, if I were to draw this on the whiteboard right now for you, I would probably, yeah, do an umbrella, and then underneath the umbrella would be each one of these databases that you could check. You know, America History and Life, you know, Masterfile, Premier, Medline, Music Index. Some of these probably are self-explanatory. You can get what subject areas they are specifically focused toward. And then others like Academic Search Premier, I mean, if you click on these little bubbles, it'll tell you what it is. So this is multidisciplinary, and it has full text from more than 4,600 journals. Now, you may not know if that's good or bad, if that number is high or low, but it is what it is for now. You know, PDF back files going to 1975, blah, blah, blah. Let's take a look at some of these other ones. One that might be important to you would be Communication and Mass Media Complete. So what's this one? Well, it says the most robust quality research. Yeah, you know, whatever. I believe it when I see it. But what it says is that, let's see, let's get further down here. Aha. Well, no, come on. There we go. Cover-to-cover core indexing and abstracts from more than 570 journals. Well, you know, most robust quality research related to communication and mass media. There's the catchphrase, related to mass media, because that was 570 journals, and then what was this one? More than 4,600. So yeah, you do the comparison. Another one I use a lot is ERIC. That's the Education Resource Information Center. Yep. Contains more than 1.3 million records. I'm guessing that means journal articles, but it probably also means other artifacts besides that, pictures, graphics, and so forth. Doesn't really say exactly how many journals are represented in this one, but it's education-based, and that's the basis for my research trajectory as a scholar. So that one's important to me. Some of you may be interested in sports. Here's one, Sport Discuss, with full text. Well, sorry, actually I could probably move my window a little bit. There we go. That might help. And there it is. That should help. Well, and maybe it didn't, I don't know, when we go to play this, but I'll read it to you in case it's blocked. 550 journals. So this one's on par with Communication and Mass Media Complete. And there's some other ones in here. Psychology's in here. Here's Newspaper Source. That one came up a bit. So let's see what this one does. You know, what does it say that it does after all? Move my camera back. I'm moving my camera of me, so that's why the pause. Provides cover-to-cover full text from more than 40 U.S. and international newspapers. 40? So this is what I was talking about when we were discussing Google. This idea of nodes and networks and spiders, all this terminology. But the bottom line is that different databases have a different degree of reach, how much they're able to reach. And so, you know, again, these are the ones that are housed within Bracken Library that you have access to just by logging in with your BSU credentials. These are the ones that you're paying for. So you should be using these. You know, you never know when they might be helpful. And because they are specific, even though they may not have as much reach, that may be okay, because they may still target exactly what it is that you're looking for in a way that maybe a larger, broader database wouldn't be able to. So, you know, what you would do then is, all right, you're in the meta, the house, you've selected your databases, and if we were to show all, it would, well, it would start to show more of them. And so, what do we want to do here? Well, let's say undergraduate, I have no idea, journalism students, that's what I'm thinking. Now we know that quote marks is going to give us a more specific yield in our search. And I mean, this is another way you could do it too. You know, if you want that phrase just in the title, let's try it and see what happens. It may come back with nothing. No results were found. So that might mean that it's a little bit too specific. And so one way to try it again, get rid of the quotes. See if we get anything now. Still, well, I don't know. I find that hard to believe that you wouldn't have anything there. But okay, fine. So let's go back to what I originally planned to do and do a search for that. Okay. Just that phrase yielded 27 results. So maybe there really are no results, you know, at least within the databases that I selected. One thing you can do too, just as a quick aside, I didn't mention this when we were in this bubble, but you can select all of them if you want to. that's an easy way to just try to make sure you've covered all your bases. So yeah, you've got this, it would help if we knew what about undergraduate journalism students we were really looking for. But I can do it this way. Maybe I want just full text so I can actually have the complete scholarly article. And that is what this is about. What you're seeing up here, this is about scholarly research. And one way we can be sure of that, we can check as a limiter just peer-reviewed, which now you know what that means. So if we click on that, now we're down to 7. Now we're down to just 7 that are full text and peer-reviewed. And so, well, I'm guessing we're not so much interested in Britain, so that one may be out. But yeah, the point is that we've only selected a couple different databases. Maybe we need more databases to search. And you'll notice, for example, I forget who mentioned it, someone brought up Google Scholar on Tuesday. That is an academic database, but it's not something that is within the house of EBSCOhost, if you want to look at it that way. So you could certainly look this phrase up in Google Scholar and see what results you get from that. That's definitely an additional option that you should pursue, to get more information beyond what shows here. So what that would mean then is Google Scholar, Academic Search Premier, ERIC, and Communication Mass Media Complete. Now you've at least searched for 4 databases for full text, peer-reviewed scholarly articles about undergraduate journalism students. And again, it would help to know a little bit more about what about them you really want to know. But this gives you an idea. And I mean, here's your traditional operants, and or not. So we could, if we did know, undergraduate journalism students and jobs. And you know what? I'm gonna get rid of the full text, and we'll search. Okay, so I'm up to 17. All right. So it'll tell you if you have full text or not. Multi-link basically, it says that, well, I've always seen that as kind of like an interlibrary loan option, that we don't maybe have it in the database that is accessible through our university library system, but they might be able to get it from another university library that has the database that we don't. So, I mean, it's just another option. You might have to wait a little while for it. You won't be able to download it right now like you could with this option, for example. Oh, we're back to the Britain one, I see. Yeah, and I mean, it's just a way for you to go about hanging on to your source materials. I like full text, but you can also limit by publication date. These are all functioning much like the characters, the minus sign, the tilde. All these things on the left are all different limiters that you can use to narrow your search results if you know what it is that you're looking for. And I think that that's, as I've said before, time and again, I think that's very important, and it is, in my estimation, the very first step in that iterative research process. So that would be worthwhile to use. Now, one thing I would have you do, for example, let's say that you were assigned to one of these databases in here, maybe we have you do Communication and Mass Media Complete. Okay, so we don't want to check any more ERIC. What else did I check in here? No more Academic Search Premier. We do that. Okay, so now we're just searching only Communication and Mass Media Complete, through the house of EBSCO. And I would have you, for example, in your final screencast tutorial, I'd have you be demonstrating a real-time search. How do you search within this database? What are some of the limiters that you can use to narrow your results? And then once you find the results, so if we search for this in here, okay, there's 8. All right, so what I would want you to do then is I'd want you to click on one of these articles and then explain, exporting options. Maybe how could you cite it? Does it do it automatically for you in AP so that you don't have to do it yourself? Wouldn't that be nice? But that's kind of the kind of thing I'm going to want you to find out with your partners as you go about this final project, just to kind of give you a foreshadowing of what's to come. There's a print option. You can add it to a folder, so if you want to save it, read it later, that's an option. There is, in fact, a save for just this overview information. You could save just this if you want just a snapshot of the article itself. So there's, a couple different functions, a couple different mechanisms that you could use in order to make this database work for you. And that's kind of what I want. I want you to become, first of all, aware of these databases and the fact that they exist in the first place. And then after that, how can you best use them? And so what you will be contributing to is this ongoing archive of screencast tutorials that we've been creating about all these databases. And so for now, we'll leave it there, and I will pick up the videos next week.